Good evening, baseball fans. It is Sunday, December 10th, and this is a very special bonus episode with a very special guest. Very special guest. Some of you guys may know her. Emily Nyman from Breaking Balls podcast. She does it on Twitter because it will always be Twitter.
That's right.
And Kelsey, obviously, my beautiful co-host.
I'm just here to be a fly on the wall, really. I gotta hear Emily's takes.
I'm so
I
excited.
can't wait for this. I can't wait to watch it myself. I've got to be in on it.
Yeah. So if you guys didn't hear the last episode, we did not talk about what was the biggest move until Shohei signed. And we didn't talk about it on our last episode because it was a big move, and I was like, you know what? No, I need Emily's reaction on this. So we gave you your very own special episode that we're just going to talk all the Yankees stuff on this episode. Like, you're welcome.
I'm so honored, you guys. Thank you.
I'm so excited. So before we get into it, though, I need to give the warning. So this is going to be a rated R podcast. Not the OnlyFans version, though, just the version where we say fuck a lot. So if that's not your jam, by all means, feel free to click off, put in your earphones. Earphones? Who the fuck says earphones? Earbuds. Sorry, I'm 90 years old, apparently. Earbuds to not let the tiny ears hear it or whatnot. I don't care. Just don't touch us when your children ask, what fuck damn it means. That's not my fault. That's whatever. So with that said, we're gonna jump right into it because, like I said, before Shohei signed to the motherfucking Dodgers, this was the blockbuster trade. Dun dun dun. Yeah. It was a trade.
Oh yeah.
Because the San Diego Padres said, you know what? We got to do something about our payroll because we can't keep getting $50 million loans to pay our payroll. That still blows my mind. Anyways, so you know what?
It's actually not that uncommon
to get 50 million. My brain is broken. Okay, like you cannot tell me that multiple $50 million loans are just given out every day. You just can't tell me that. I realize that that's probably a thing, but my poor
not the peasants like us, to billionaires.
Yeah. Right. My poor person brain can't handle that shit, okay?
I'm like, no, don't get me wrong. You would get denied expeditiously, as would we too.
Yeah. They're like, Susie, you want a $500 loan? Absolutely not. No, thank you. So, but they said, you know what? We got this one guy. His name's Juan Soto. What will you give us, Yankees? What will you give us for Juan Soto?
And you really want him. You got to make it happen. Cash, he needs it.
What can we get? What do we need? And then the Yankees said, we need Juan Soto. Give us Juan Soto because we need his quote unquote gold glove defense. That's why they
that's why they got him. They brought him in for the defense.
For the defense. But it was a five-player trade for the San Diego Padres and a 2-person trade. Padres going to the Yankees. So the Yankees received Juan Soto and center fielder Trent Grisham. And then the Padres got Michael King. That's really the only guy that I remember.
Michael King, Johnny Brito, Kyle Higashioka, catcher. I think Randy Vasquez.
Oh, and Drew Thorpe,
And Drew Thorpe. Yes, Drew Thorpe is the only one who's not major league.
4 pitchers
and a catcher.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So, okay. Side note, the Rule 5 draft happened in the midst of all of this as well. The Rule 5 draft, if you guys don't know, is where the leagues have to pare down their minor league system. And they're like, you know what? We're not going to save this guy. We're not going to save this guy. And he's up for grabs, essentially. I watched that kind of a little bit confused because I still really don't understand the Rule 5 draft. However, I just know that a shit ton of New York Yankees pitchers got taken in the Rule 5 draft. Like so much more so than any other team. And I was a little taken aback because we've all heard the shenanigans that the minor league hitting system apparently is not up to par. But apparently y'all can turn out some motherfucking pitchers.
Yeah, that's for sure. I mean, that's why it was, Michael King was a great asset for the Yankees, so much so that he was the the centerpiece of a trade for a generational player like Juan Soto. And I think that that's the Yankees process. They have their player development is very, very good. They have a lot of players that make it to major league rosters, and that is really like the sign of good player development. It's not about just like creating superstars, obviously, because they're few and far between. So, and this is like the best part of that, because obviously the performance on the field, the pitchers is great, but because they're able to develop so many pitchers and they're able to find a lot of diamonds in the rough, I wasn't concerned about the haul to get Juan Soto.
Yeah.
You know, it's not like, well, these are our only guys, so we got to hope that the starters are able to go deep in the games. Like, no, we still have a bunch of guys in the pen that are very good. And I am very confident in Cashman and Matt Blake, the pitching coach's ability to, you know, make those like Clay Holmes moves where they got Clay Holmes from the Pirates a few years ago. It was like, who the fuck is this guy? And then it was like, oh my God, he's like reliever of the year and he's amazing. You know, so there is confidence in that in terms of the front office.
So where were you when the news dropped? Because the rumors were there, right? The rumors were there that Juan Soto
all day
was to the Yankees.
For 2 days at least.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But where were you when it actually became like a for real, oh my God, Juan Soto to the Yankees?
I was actually sitting on the couch right behind me. My fiance was about to walk outside, and I had my phone. The day before I turned, I only have notifications on for Jeff Passan, and then when Jack Curry was dropping some like updates, who Jack Curry is a in-studio analyst for the Yankees on their Yes Network, so he's obviously going to be a reputable source if he is giving us some info in terms of like what's going on. So I got the notification from Curry saying that it happened, and I was literally just like, oh my God, like it happened. It happened. Like I'm not kidding. I'm twice in like a 30-second to 2-minute period. I just like had tears of joy, like literally like these like dry like sobs of like, thank God, because you just don't think those things are going to happen. And the Yankees are linked to everybody. And, you know, when they were like, oh, it's stalled, the Padres are looking at this, that, or the other thing. Like, yeah, I think the worst. I'm just conditioned to always think the worst because it's baseball. We kind of all are unless things are going really good, you think the worst. So I was just having a lot of trepidation, not thinking it was going to happen. And then it happened. And it was just like, they haven't made moves like this. You know what I mean? Like, Rizzo and Gallo, that was whatever a few years ago. But for a player like Juan Soto, for them to pull the trigger on it, it just finally is proof of them realizing like, hey, we tried to do the piecemeal, like having guys hoping that they have a great half a year, you know, getting the most value you can out of your Jake Bauers and Billy McKinney's and trying to tap into that for 80 to 162 games. But it had failed 2 seasons in a row and obviously catastrophically last year. So they had to make a move like this because you get better by adding better players to the roster. Like, you want your team to be better, go out and get better players, proven major league talent. And that is how you're going to get it done. Aaron Judge cannot do it alone. He can't.
Wait, is that how games are won? How series are won? You get better players?
I know. It is very high level analysis, but who knew?
Breaking news.
How you do it.
I wasn't aware that that's how things were won, but now that I do, maybe we'll keep that in our back pockets.
You know, the teams try to get cute, and sometimes it works. I mean, the Yankees, it did work from 2017. You know, unfortunately, they ran into the Astros and also Boston having the best season of their franchise history in 2018. But those Yankee teams were very good. They won, you know, over 100 games, and they had guys that like Gio Urshela and, you know, Didi Gregorius. Those guys are not great players. They're not horrible, but you are only going to get so much juice out of those lemons. You know what I mean? Like, they only have maybe a season and a half of above average play in them. So you now have to they had to try to get more, revamp that, and it didn't work. Especially because they brought in assholes like Josh Donaldson. Like, that trade was so bad. I still... Whatever. I have to get over that because they just traded for Juan Soto. I can let go of the Josh Donaldson and IKF for Gary Sanchez and Gio Urshela trade.
Oh, like you're like, fine, Cashman, your sins are forgiven because you brought me Juan Soto.
Well, especially the night before, they're like, breaking Yankees trade for Alex Verdugo. I'm like, did I do something?
Yeah.
Do they like they? This feels like a personal vendetta at this point. I fucking hated Josh Donaldson forever. They brought him here, and then Alex Verdugo. I fucking hate Alex Verdugo. Like, I was like, what did I do? Why are they doing this to me? It was horrible. I was like, this is going to be another terrible season. And then Soto happened the next night. Thank God.
I need to know, Alex Verdugo. Do they allow grills? Do the Yankees allow grills? Because I feel like
yes, they don't allow facial hair, but you can have grills. No, I'm just kidding. Definitely not. The facial hair thing is racist, so there's no way they would like grills or like big chains. There's just no chance.
Oh my God.
Oh, I thought you said they did allow.
I did because I was joking. Like, you have to be very clean cut, no facial hair, no long hair, but you can have a fucking
grill.
A really just an iced out grill.
Oh my God. I like that photoshopped picture. I think it was photoshopped at least of Verdugo, like clean shaven Verdugo. I was like, I don't even know who that motherfucker is.
Right.
So, like on opening day or like I actually during spring training, even like I'm so interested to see what Alex Verdugo will look like, because in no point in time do I feel like his vibe, I guess, goes with the Yankees. I'm like,
no, not at all.
He's gonna be going into his free agent year next year. So I don't know. Do you think that we could see a change with him just in the way that he carries himself and goes about his business? Could this scenery, the change of scenery and change of organization and leadership like be the difference for him, or are we just not really expecting much?
I mean,
other than
I think that Alex Verdugo, I would hope so, because to be frank, Alex Verdugo is not good enough to be able to come to an organization and like be like, well, this is who I am. I'm not falling in step with how the clubhouse is or what the expectations are.
Right.
Like, if you're going to be that way, you better be fucking Barry Bonds. You know what I'm saying? Like, you can't be Alex Verdugo.
Well, and he carries himself that way, and he hasn't even got guaranteed money yet. So what is the incentive to like for him to then turn around and change the way that he is just as a teammate when he does have guaranteed money? That's the biggest thing that I would think is so unattractive about him for a team to invest in him. But it'll be really interesting to see how he is with the Yankees.
Yeah,
maybe shaving his facial hair, it'll be like a breaking a horse, a wild horse. Like, he's just, that's going to be the thing that was like keeping his edge and attitude in Boston.
Yeah,
maybe. Well, because there was always the rumors that he was not a good clubhouse guy, but just you heard the rumors of him showing up late and getting benched. When your manager literally comes out and says that you got benched, like it's not the best look for you. Not the best look for you, Alex Verdugo. And the fact that I want to say like last season, I think he was like a 104, 103 WRC plus, which is a hair above average player. I'm like, sir, your vibe does not match, like your attitude does not match your playing ability here. Like what's going on? So I'll be interested to see like what actually goes on there. But
I hope that he comes on the team. He has to shave his face, and then they like trade him not too long after that. I hope they do that.
Well, but apparently that's not, because everyone's like, oh no, since we got Juan Soto, like they're gonna flip Alex Verdugo for something else. And I was hoping for another a la Alex Anthopoulos.
Yeah.
Like, we got this guy, and 2 days later we flip him for somebody else. But apparently that's not the thing. Y'all are keeping Alex Verdugo, and he will be in your outfield at some point. And so,
which I'm okay with, because another struggle of the Yankees is that they didn't have any depth. Yep. So like their bench was very, very weak. I mean, Oswaldo Cabrera, really great guy, clearly happy to be there every day. He is not a Major League Baseball player. He doesn't belong on any Major League roster that is attempting to do something and make it to the postseason. He can't be like a 10th man off the bench. Mm-hmm. He had a great 40 games 2 years ago, and that's it. So like they had to bring in guys that it's like Verdugo is a good guy off the bench, an average hitter and a lefty. If you can teach him to lift the ball a little bit more, he may be able to put a few out at Yankee Stadium. So like if he buys into the process and which he'd be stupid not to since he's approaching free agency, he can be valuable to the Yankees in particular. But if not, then see ya.
Were you surprised that you guys made a trade with the Red Sox though? Like out of all the clubs, like it was the Red Sox, and you're like, wait, what?
Yeah, it's always weird. Like it's only happened, I think, maybe like 8 times in like the last, so I don't even know how many years. But they traded Ottavino to the Red Sox. They were literally like, we don't need any, just give us some money. We just got to get rid of this fucking guy. And the Red Sox were like, okay. So that was weird. And then I did not think that this was going to happen. That's why it was so shocking. It was like a punch to the gut because they never traded with the Red Sox and they traded for this fucking asshole. And I was like, oh no, this is not a good sign. So it was shocking. And it's like, why him? Like, anyone but him.
Was it the day before, or maybe the day of, when the statement came out that Alex Cora said that he had gotten off of a FaceTime with Brian Cashman, and Brian Cashman just kind of had this like coy smile on his face and was like, yeah.
With Boone.
Oh, Boone it was. Sorry. And was like, yeah, something maybe going down. Like, you're all, huh? What? So I'm like, no, there's no, like, you knew that AC like knew what he was doing, dropping that little tidbit. I was like, that's at least that in my head. I'm like, no, Alex Cora, you knew what you were doing. So
I know. I tried. I did. That did get me like, I'm like, okay. But who knows? If I were Alex Cora, I would probably want to fuck with fans also and get their hopes up and then, dash them right away or just like get your hopes up and it's Alex Verdugo. Like, so I was just like, okay, let me just take this with a grain of salt. And it is kind of funny thinking like, oh, they got on FaceTime and Boone just being like, just like being like all coy and shy. It's like, why did you guys have this call?
They're talking about their fantasy football roster, and it just kind of happened to come up in conversation.
Oh, by the way.
But side note though, I have to make this joke though, because so for Alex Verdugo though, the Red Sox got pitchers, all pitchers,
more pitchers.
Yeah, Richard Fitz,
Dick Fitz.
I'm all, sir, Dick Fitz. Your name is Dick Fitz. What? I was like, no. Oh Lord, yeah. Greg Weissert and Nicholas Judas. I don't know anything about any of those players except for the fact that this motherfucker's name is Dick Fitz, and I can't.
Dick Fitz.
Now he's on the Red Sox.
And now he's on the Red Sox. So, do you know anything about these pitchers that the Red Sox got?
I don't know anything about Dick. I don't know anything about the third guy you said, but Greg Weissert, he was called up,
year, right?
Yeah, I think he was called up like at some point in the year before, and then he was in the pen basically all last year. What I do love about Weissert and why I'm like kind of sad to see him go, but not because of his on-field play. I mean, he was pretty good, but he is from like the town right next to the town that I grew up in, and not many Major League Baseball players come from Long Island in this region. Yeah. So it's when he was called up, I was like, oh my God, he's from Bayshore. He went to Bayshore High School. Like, it's just, that is very rare around here. So I wish him the best. Not against the Yankees. I hope he fucking shits the bed against the Yankees every single time. And I hope he does so in front of like his home friends when they go to the game at Yankee Stadium. But everywhere else, go for it, buddy.
Well, that's awesome. Yeah. Well, the Red Sox needed pitching so badly.
Still need pitching.
They still need pitching.
But we'll see.
How do I share the link to this show? Are people watching this right now?
Hello,
Jonathan is. Hello, Jonathan.
Yep. Jonathan, tell us how you found the show.
You must be a subscriber to your channel.
You must be, I think. So, but yeah, Jonathan says that he thinks that the pitcher that we got from the Royals will be used in our bullpen. Yes, I think he will vie for a job in spring training. I don't know how to share this, Emily, because
neither do I.
I'm looking on Twitter to make sure it's not popping up there, but
I think you'd have to go to my actual YouTube
page.
And then
that makes sense.
And then share that. I think, but I'm not positive on that because I don't know tech, obviously.
Didn't mean to. I'm like, let me ask a totally non-baseball question that none of us know the answer to.
We are.
Oh, see?
Yes. I will share it on Twitter and tag you in it.
Huzzah.
Oh,
Thanks,
thank you.
Kels. We appreciate that. Yeah. So let's talk about the Yankees players now. So since Juan Soto is going to be there in the outfield, Alex Verdugo also going to be out there in the outfield. Trent Grisham, I assume, is going to be your everyday center fielder.
I think it depends on whether I think Judge will play the field the majority of the time. So he'll either be in center field and Judge will be in right field, and then Verdugo will just be on the bench, or Judge will be in center field and Verdugo will be in right field, and Grisham will be a late inning defensive replacement for Judge.
Interesting. Okay, so tell me, is Judge like Jordan, that he has better numbers when he is in the field versus like when he's just a DH?
It's hard to say because Judge hasn't really spent significant time as a DH beyond probably like the end of 2018 when he came back from a broken wrist. So I don't really know that off the top of my head. He's always an outfielder, and I would imagine so. I'd imagine so because basically every player plays hits a little bit better with like the exception of fucking Edgar Martinez on the Seattle Mariners in the 90s. Every player is better when they're involved in every pitch and on both sides of the ball.
Do you not worry about Aaron Judge though? Do you not want to like wrap him up like in bubble wrap and you're like, no, Judge, I need you not to fucking run into anything else. You bubble wrap you so that you can sit on the bench and just hit. Do you not want to do that?
No, I don't. I don't, because Judge, knock on wood, his injuries for the majority of his career that he's had, they're injuries that
free.
just
No, they're free.
So if he were someone who like, oh, he's like a Stanton who was like, well, like pull muscles and stuff,
right?
Different story. Even though there is something to be said that they stay looser when they're playing both sides of the ball. They don't get it, like.
I wouldn't know anything about that because I don't do the exercise, but I'm going to take your word for it. Kelsey probably can attest to that fact, but
yeah, that's why
I'd imagine the training is a little different. Oh, sorry.
Oh, I was just saying that's why Stanton. I mean, I think he prefers to be in the outfield when he can as well. But so you've got who are your starting three then in the outfield?
Soto, Judge, and Verdugo, because Brian Cashman the other day said, or Spoon, that like if opening day were today, then Judge would be starting in center field.
Okay, so
the Yankees, they never throw out the same lineup every day. They just have I think they're allergic to it or something. So that opening day lineup would be different on day two. So it doesn't even mean that he'll like be there forever. It's like he'll start there and then they'll try to get the majority of his starts there probably.
Have they always kind of played it that way, or is that circumstantial because of their roster? Like, do you think that they would change that if they could?
I think that Judge, he played center field basically the entire 2022 when he won MVP. I think that maybe trying to get him away from the corners is possibly proactive in terms of he's really huge, and when he picks up speed and runs into walls, he's capable of really damaging himself and the wall. So maybe they're trying to like avoid that by giving him more space. I'm not sure. I imagine that they're just trying to get better hitters. That's the thing, is that they try to lean into defense and they try to go with, the defense up the middle and kind of play it old school in that regard and win via run suppression, but it didn't work.
Right.
So they need to have better hitters. And in order to do that, then they have to be able to move some guys, and getting a center fielder that can hit really well, that's like a unicorn.
So you're more on the side of protecting Judge by putting him in center field as opposed to protecting him by putting him at the corners.
Because Judge, when he's playing center field, he's an average center fielder, like league average. Sure. He's not bad. He's not fantastic. He's a good center fielder. So that's all you need. And obviously he's one of the best hitters on the planet. So that makes him an incredibly valuable center fielder. None of those other guys are capable of playing center field with the exception of Grisham, but he can't hit. So you can't have him in the lineup every single day. You have to say, okay, let's have Verdugo and Soto and Judge, and then they'll see how things play out, I'd imagine. If Verdugo starts to shit the bed, then I'm sure we'll see Judge move over Grisham and they'll give him a shot, or we're going to just see variations of those 4 rotating in and out in terms of Grisham and Verdugo rotating in and out in corner and center field.
Okay, so the name I hear you not mentioning here, though, is Stanton. And
he's a DH.
Susie yes, I mean, he is primarily a DH, but Susie was saying, so I guess that is my next question for you. Do you see him as just he's the plug and play DH, or is there any chance Susie was saying that she thinks they might think about trying to just eat some of his contract and see if they can't move him? Any chance you think that happens?
No, he's untradeable. I mean, besides the fact that he has a full no trade clause, so he would have to agree to be traded anywhere. And I don't know if he would necessarily do that, but maybe he would. But I think that his contract is untradeable, and I don't think that they necessarily even have to do that. You know, they're not in like a roster crunch. So I think that, and Stanton's skill set he has an elite skill set. So I'm not convinced that he's completely washed just because of last year, if that makes sense. You know what I mean?
I totally agree.
I think that he is definitely worth, and the Yankees are able to, their development and their coaching is pretty good. So I think I have a lot of confidence in, and Stanton is someone who is he takes a lot of responsibility for himself and his performance, and he's someone that takes his job very seriously and is always working to get better. He's cut some weight this offseason, hoping that staying a little bit leaner may help him stay healthier. Maybe that means that he's going to try to get in the outfield more. If he's a little bit leaner, then he's maybe a little bit more, I don't know, nubile. Is that like a weird way to say it? But I think that maybe he'll get in the mix. Like I said, the Yankees, they have like they're guys that are always going to start, but they're not always going to start at the same position, with the exception of like Volpe, Gleyber Torres, and Anthony Rizzo, and the catcher.
Yeah.
Everyone else, DJ LeMahieu, he may start first base one day. Stanton will be DH. Then he'll be in right field, you know, because maybe Judge will be just taking a day off and DHing, or Judge will be in center field. Oh, and I guess now Juan Soto, because he fucking can't play anywhere else. So.
Yeah.
Just
well, and those are, I mean, the things that are not up for debate is that Aaron Judge and Juan Soto are in your lineup every single day. So
I know. And people are like, it's only for, I know. I'm like, yeah, I can't believe it. I'm like,
literally every time you think about it, like he's going to hit 2, right? Like Juan Soto at 2, Aaron Judge at 3.
I mean, I wish that the Yankees would have Soto lead off.
Ooh,
and then Judge hit. I really am hoping for that. If they have DJ LeMahieu lead off in front of those two, like that's like the meme with like those 3 dragons, and it's like a fierce dragon, a really fierce dragon, and like a fucking super derpy looking dragon. Like I will. I'm saying that I won't be able to take it, but I feel like it's gonna happen.
No, and I feel like putting LeMahieu later on in the lineup just makes sense. Like take the pressure off of him. Just like, no. Oh my gosh!
He's just not a high on base guy.
Leadoff hitter, though. That like makes me so excited. Okay,
right. Get someone on base. Soto gets on base nearly 50% of the time. So put him
shuffle.
Can you imagine what that's going to look like? And he has Aaron Judge hitting right behind him now.
Oh yeah, he's going to walk like crazy, and like that is just.
I'm going to.
You know how many times Aaron Judge came up to bat with nobody on base?
Right.
Not last year, even in 2022, it's just like, why is this happening? Like, and the bottom of the lineup being so trash, like, it just lengthens the lineup. And
okay,
so
it's
interesting because you say like, we hear everybody say all the time, like one player can't make the difference for a team, and I think that's the other thing that Susie and I were kind of talking about that she wanted to get into is we've seen all the Yankees fans being like, this is it, the Yankees are back, like Juan Soto is making all the difference. So while I absolutely see the difference that he can make, what else do they need to do this offseason so that you feel really excited?
Starting pitching. I'm sorry, I had
so that you feel really excited about watching the Yankees go for it in 2024.
I think that their chances of potentially getting Yamamoto are pretty high, and I think that would obviously be huge. They need to add another starting pitcher. So if they missed on Yamamoto, then I guess they're gonna have to go out. I mean, I think even someone like what's his face, Waka from the Padres, like just because the Yankees, like I said at the start of the show, I have the utmost faith in their pitching development and their pitching coaching. So anyone with any semblance of talent, just go get someone who can pitch 6 innings and give you a bunch of innings. Go get them and make them a 5th starter if you have to, you know? So, because the thing with the Yankees last year is that beyond Judge's injury, and, you know, Rodon missed half a year. Nestor Cortez basically missed the entire year. Beyond those guys, it was just like catastrophic injuries and also just bad luck in terms of Stanton, Rizzo, DJ LeMahieu all having like really bad years. And that's just things that you can't necessarily predict, even though it's not like, oh, Stanton's going to be amazing every year, but you definitely don't predict him to be as bad as he was. Right. You don't predict Anthony Rizzo to hit his head on Tatis's leg. And then we're all like, this guy's playing like he doesn't remember how to play baseball. And the Yankees are like, he's fine.
Actually, he doesn't remember how to play baseball.
Right. I know. And then he's like, I have headaches really bad, coach. And he says it 6 months later. And it's like, dude, what the fuck? He's like, I can't drive at night anymore, actually.
Listen, he just rubbed some dirt on it. He was fine. Okay. Like, that's how concussions work. You just rub some dirt on that shit.
It was crazy. So I think that, you know, you have to trust the process, basically, that, you know, your Rodon, I also think is going to have a better year this year. I think last year it was tough for him to come in mid-season to that season. And it's like, you don't think that this is going to be the Yankees that you're signing on for. And now here you are debuting, and Yankee fans are rabid and they're pissed off and they're ready to fucking hate your guts because they're just really angry. So I think that the vibe is going to be different this year. Getting Soto, like, that reinvigorates a clubhouse, a fan base, those kind of moves. And that's what Yankee fans are saying in terms of the Yankees being back, is because they weren't making that move for a few years. They were making that move a few years too late, like when they traded for Rizzo. It's like, okay, Rizzo's great, but he's also kind of past his prime and he gets hurt every year. And Gallo was a huge like up or down guy. This could either work out great or not. So they were not just getting the big names. Like when the Padres traded for Soto, I was so jealous. I was like seething that the Yankees didn't make that move, because that is a Yankee move that the Yankees of old have done. And I'm not even like a 27 rings back in my day. The Yankees, like if George were alive type fan. I hate that shit, but it has been frustrating. Like, you're the Yankees. Why are we getting fucking pushed around by all these fucking scrubs? Why are we letting the Padres get fucking Juan Soto?
So if Shohei actually did end up in the Blue Jays, like what would you have done?
I would have been like, fuck. But I would have been like, okay, he's on the Blue Jays, so like they are just pathetic and horrible. Like, good luck, buddy. Like, see, it's gonna be sick. You left the Angels, the 4th place Angels, to just come to the fucking 3rd and 4th place Blue Jays, okay?
Yeah, that's true.
But this week was magical, because not only did they get Soto, but then Blue Jays fans thought they were going to get Soto and didn't. The Yankees did instead. And then they all really thought they were going to get Shohei Ohtani and they didn't. So watching them in pain has been really, really fun. Awesome. It's been a great week being a Yankees fan.
Oh, I love that so much. Okay. I still have a couple. Your starting rotation still is very sus, as the kids like to say. You know, Garrett Cole, super. Side note, like, let the man grow a fucking goatee out. I'm pretty sure he'd be more badass. I think you're cock blocking him. Just a skosh. Just a skosh. Okay.
Maybe if he shaved it earlier, he would have won Cy Young over Verlander in 2019. Maybe it was holding him back.
I don't think so. I think he had a better year. I think he had a better year then, though. I don't know. I think maybe his voice was a little bit lower when he was on the Astros too, though. So
yeah, right. He was still like,
He was Kermit the Frog then too, okay?
I love him so much.
But Clark Schmidt is your 3. Now, Clark Schmidt is great, but like as a 3 for the Yankees, though, I'm like, come on now. And then like Nestor,
I think he'd be more of a 4, to be honest. Okay. I think that Nestor will be 3rd.
The 3? Okay.
But obviously, if they get Yamamoto, everyone gets bumped back, with the exception of Cole.
Well, so looking on Fangraphs roster resource, they have 1 and 2, obviously Garrett Cole, Carlos Rodon, Clark Schmidt is the 3, Nestor Cortez as the 4, and then I don't know who the fuck Clayton Beater is, but like, who is Clayton Beater? That's who they're listing as your 5. I'm sorry, who?
No clue, because they don't have a 5th starter. It was Domingo Herman, but he's a scumbag and also a fucking raging alcoholic, so he was kicked off the team, thankfully. Yeah. And so they didn't have one. And then they didn't have one because and then we're like, whatever, because last year was terrible. We were like, fuck it. And they brought up Michael King to put in some innings, and he netted them Juan Soto.
He did great. And they were like, just kidding. Juan Soto, you're better. Let's come on over, Juan Soto. Let's go.
The Padres are like, wow, he was a starter for fucking 5 games. Amazing. All right, here's Juan Soto. It's like, okay.
Let's go. So, do you think then you guys will be able to beat the Orioles this season? Who ends up with a better record? You or the Orioles? Well, I say you. Yankees or the Orioles?
Yeah, I'm like, I'm definitely not me. I can guarantee that I'm gonna come out with an L no matter what. Okay, because the Yankees are probably not gonna win a World Series because most teams, the odds are against them. So, but I think that it's hard to say. I think
we should probably ask you this question like 2-3 months from now.
Right.
Because I'm like, ask me like this time next year who had the better record, because I can definitely look that up. Because let me pull up the Baltimore, like their roster, like their pitching situation.
Yeah, it's a little sus as well.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean,
not having Felix Bautista, that is a huge blow for them. Their bullpen.
What do you mean?
And they brought in that idiot?
Closer? Like what?
Like, yo, this is a sick move in 2015 for the Orioles to do.
Yeah, it's a little scary.
And I think that it's because there's so many questions for the Yankees, because they have on paper they have the potential to be very good. They have the potential to win 100 games. So I don't know. It depends on if they get Yamamoto. There's a few chips that kind of have to fall into place before I can say that they're going to win the division, because this is obviously a really tough division. So I don't even need them to beat the Orioles. I don't need them to win the division. You just got to get to the dance, get your foot in the door, and anything can happen. So let the Orioles have the division, and let the Rays. I don't care, because they both end up shitting the bed in October anyway. So
that's true.
I mean, I do care. That is a total lie. I want to win the division. I do not want that.
I'm gonna clip.
I hate those teams, so don't get me wrong. I'm not like, oh, who cares?
Like, hey, do you remember this part? And you're like, I don't care. Remember that part? I'm gonna clip it. What as you rant? That's what I'm
just like, how dare you use my own words against me?
So Clay Holmes is your closer. But hasn't Loizaga closed games too for you, or am I?
I don't think I think he's maybe closed like a handful, maybe less than 10 games. That's for sure. Okay. He's more of a setup guy.
Okay, well, because
he's not a strikeout guy. He is he's a ground ball king. He's got a wicked sinker, so that's not really the best kind of pitcher that you want to close your game. You kind of want someone who can shut the door,
right?
With like just speed and power, and strike guys out, overpower them basically.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Last question. Jason Dominguez got Tommy John. He's not expected back this season, right? Or was he expected back like halfway, or like what?
I think August is the earliest, right? But he could be back.
Yeah, like the position players, they don't require as much time in terms of like their rehab, for obvious reasons, because they're not trying to fucking pump 100 miles per hour 90 times a game. So I think that he's expected sometime midseason, but they were never gonna. I don't think that he was in the plans to be their starting center fielder or anything on opening day, because they are going to manipulate his service time probably. Yeah. So you know how it is.
Aha.
Yeah, you know that old game,
right? Back to AAA you go. All right. Well, thank you so much for coming on, and I apologize for our technical difficulties, because
no problem.
And I don't understand technology. But tell the people where they can find you.
You can find me on Twitter at MSheDoesIt. I also do a weekly show with an Astros fan and a Guardians fan. Jim and Ed, the dad had, I forget the name of our show because it's changed a few times. So I hope they don't listen to this because it's on my Twitter page. So just go there. Everything, you can find everything there. And Breaking Balls, now that I'm feeling reinvigorated and feeling creative and engaged in the sport and hobby that I love, I suddenly want to start recording Breaking Balls episodes again. Because I've been going on shows and being like, oh yeah, you can find Breaking Balls, but it's an episode from fucking 2 months ago. So just listen to back episodes and you get the gist. We'll be back eventually, but I feel like an episode is for real coming up soon because I'm back. The Yankees are back, baby. Do not use that clip against me if they are like in third place in July, okay?
This is what you get with an Astros fan. You're taking your chances here.
I'm just saying. And now that I understand how to edit things, I'm totally going to clip it and it's happening. I'm going to just save it and put it in my back pocket. No, just kidding. Well, Em, I appreciate you again. Kelsey, where can they find you?
On Twitter as well at Kbird Tweets, like it is right here. I can never like point the right way. So right here, if you're watching, at Kbird Tweets, and then the link tree in my profile there will take you to my podcast, Peace, Love, and Baseball, as well as Babes, and then of course Bourbon and Baseball, where you can find me and Susie.
Yes. So, again,
thanks for having me. This is awesome. Anytime. I love talking with you guys. It's always so much fun.
We're gonna do like a monthly thing, and we're gonna put the
that'd be great
warning on it, and it's gonna happen. I love it. So,
because I didn't even get a chance to fucking clown you for the Rangers winning a World Series in the middle of this Astros golden era. That is so amazing.
I blame
That's
Dusty.
so fucking hilarious.
I blame Dusty, and you can clip that shit because I blame Dusty. Absolutely, I blame Dusty Baker.
Thank you for letting me get that in the last minute, that buzzer beater right before the episode ends.
Yeah. I'm gonna edit that out. I actually don't know how to do that, but I'm gonna fucking learn just for that. So with that, we actually will close the show. So don't forget to leave us a written review, give us 5 stars, hit subscribe on the YouTubes, and we're gonna hit end stream, maybe. Yay, baseball! Hooray! End stream.